the Witness in general, my thing with the Witness is I feel like they've left it a little bit too late to explain stuff. I think because Final Shape is literally like the end of this saga. It's obviously not the end of Destiny 2 or Destiny, but you would probably assume that the Witness will die or be defeated or something will happen to that extent. Some kind of big conclusion in the Final Shape. But I feel like it's going to take us, 7-8 years, however long they've technically had the pyramids coming. I guess it's been a long-running thing, but I feel like by the time we finally get answers of what the Witness is, we don't know who the Witness is, what it is, where they come from, why they're doing what they want to do. Like, if you compare it to like Thanos, which obviously Bungie is taking heavy inspiration from this whole kind of endgame scenario, but the Witness's motivations haven't been explained. And again, I said it in the last podcast, but we have zero reason to even care about what the Witness is up to. I mean, obviously, if he deletes all life in the universe, that won't be good. But the Witness hasn't barely even interacted with the Guardians. Besides just offering us a subclass and salvation, the Witness just kind of sidesteps us, just like, I'm here to do a thing with the Traveler. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing. But I feel like by the time we finally get to figure out what the Witness is and all these very important questions of the main villain in Destiny, they're probably going to be dead. So I feel like now was the perfect time to actually explain some stuff about the Witness, and then we can have a whole year of like build up and speculation, and also this is what the Witness, this is where it comes from, and this is why it hates the Traveler, and this is what this whole Winnower and Gardener situation is, and just kind of explain stuff. But again, I feel like by the time we actually figure out what the Witness is, he's probably going to be dead, or the story will be over. So I feel like it's a missed opportunity to introduce more of what the Witness even is earlier, I think.
I couldn't say it better. And, it's even more troubling because there is a lot of expectation from Bungie for the seasonal story for the next year to do a lot of the heavy lifting with regards to the actual story of the Witness. And, for the imminent moment, that is fine. But here's the thing. The moment that Final Shape comes along, all of the seasonal content for Lightfall is gone, as is all of that context of who the Witness is, what they do, what they want, and everything else in between. I mean, it's a huge problem. Now, obviously, the one Veil quest that's meant to be coming out alongside Season of the Deep, that is staying and will be around even after the seasonal content has been shelved. But I don't think that's enough. I honestly think that if Bungie wants to do this right, and this is, I said as much, this is not going to happen, but they need to keep that seasonal content around, especially if it gives context to what the Witness is and what their motivation is, because, that's going to be really important. And if we don't know what that is, we're going to be in a huge amount of narrative trouble. I mean, we're already in a pretty deep hole, narratively speaking, so we've really got to address that, because people are going to come along to the Final Shape. They're going to ask who the Witness is. The narrative is going to do as it does and assume for the most part that people have played the seasonal story content and have understood what's going on. And even if they do give a quick 5-minute recap before we even step into a story mission, man, that is going to be so lame in comparison to what could have been in Lightfall here, where they sat down and provided all of this as a backdrop by which we could have learned about the Witness and learned about what it wants and what it's trying to do and why it's been chasing the Traveler,
I think
there was potential and it missed again.
Yeah, but I think we'll get some stuff in the seasons, like Season of the Deep. They'll definitely add some kind of build up, but again, even if you compare to Savathun, like Savathun had way more of an introduction, way more, like we knew way more about her. She was much more of a built-up villain that had significance, that was, people at least knew the name. Whereas, again, I feel like we knew way more about Savathun than we do about the Witness. So it just seems like for Destiny's biggest main villain, the thing behind the pyramids, the whole mystery thing. I know Bungie loves their mystery, and the pyramids have been mysterious for a long time, but I think it's a bit too late now. I think it's time for some actual answers on what this main villain is, and give us a reason to care. Give us a reason to actually like have either empathy or disdain for this character. Give us a reason to But right now, there's just nothing to judge. Like, not a single person, even you, someone who probably knows more than most about the story, couldn't even say, where's the witness gone? What was that portal with the traveler? What's inside the traveler? Why did he do the thing? Where does he come from? Like, it's
Right?
these questions.
Like we have guesses.
Yeah.
We have guesses and speculation, and that's our best.
And we're nearly at the final chapter. So it's it's definitely a long time coming, but doesn't seem like it's been built up too well.
I got to agree. And there's a bigger problem with all of that, which as well is if you take a look at who the biggest villain in Destiny's storyline really is at this point, I think it's fair to say that it is actually Savathun. And that's not to sit there and say that Savathun has done the most evil, but it is to say that we've been teased about Savathun and they were related to one of the biggest expansions. In fact, technically two of the biggest expansions that we've had in a long while, and they've been affecting the universe in way more tangible ways. Like the best we have about the Witness and where it's gone at current is speculations and guesswork, and that's really frustrating because when you actually want to try and dive into everything, you realize that we actually are pretty far away from it. In fact, here's the really irritating thing. Sword logic, final shape, all these things. We've had these things bounded about in Hive lore for a very long time. Anyone who's in Destiny and has a little bit of sort of an idea of what's going on in the lore may know about these ideas. These are things that have been put to us for years and years and years. And in the lore of this expansion, it has been shown to us that these ideas of what the final shape are in fact just subjective according to each of the Witness's disciples. So it talks about how in one instance, the final shape is supposed to be in accordance to Nezarec, who is willing to run this full gamut of existence just so that it can have as much pain, so that he can feed on as much pain as possible. And then you take a look at Rulk, who is just there to destroy and upend for the sake of the Witness. And then you look at the Hive, who believe that life should exist in the universe, and the final shape is the strongest life that can possibly exist. And all of these views, as this bit of lore is pointing out, are incompatible with each other. So the reality is that we don't even know what the final shape is according to all the old stuff that we've been given. Now, that can turn into a really good thing, because it can just turn out that the Witness is, lying to all of these things and is just basically manipulating and using them, which is very in its character. But by that same token, it very much dissuades us from all the old ideas that we had about trying to understand the universe of Destiny and the final shape and what's going on with everything. And, it throws so much into disarray with regards to our old knowledge. So yeah, it's really hard to know what the Witness is doing nowadays.
Also, touching on Savathun, do you think, I would assume it's kind of Bungie have kind of set up, but do you think she'll return and in what capacity? And do you think she'll be